Time just flies when you're having a good time. WWE fans totally cannot relate to it this year though, because WrestleMania is here. Just 1 week away. It takes place April 18th and 19th, and WWE fans are not feeling it. This is the third WrestleMania under the TKO administration, and I've had enough. Let's talk about the Big Four. That's right, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. For years, Vince McMahon tried to push the Big Four as the marquee WWE events of the year. And he tried to make the three of the four just as important as WrestleMania. Over the years, we've seen both SummerSlam as well as the Rumble attracting really the same as WrestleMania-sized live audience. We've seen these events also taking place at the same venues as WrestleMania. So yes, Vince McMahon did succeed in some capacity to make the big three feel just as important as the biggest show of the year, that is WrestleMania. But even then, the big three, or any event for that matter, would just not compare to WrestleMania. WrestleMania always stood out. WrestleMania always reigned supreme. So TKO saw this problem. They realized that Vince McMahon could not make the big three feel as important as Mania. So they came up with an idea. They realized if we can't make the big three as great as Mania, we're just gonna drag Mania down. A lot of people are surprised to see WrestleMania in its current state. But I'm not surprised. I was surprised 3 years ago. Now, I've just given up. Back when everybody was excited about Cody Rhodes finishing his story at WrestleMania XL, I was just dumbfounded by the absolutely embarrassing production. I mean, we were celebrating 40 years, 4 decades of WrestleMania. And that stage looked like it belonged to a house show. Really, with advertising all over the freaking place. That stage was embarrassing. The whole lighting was embarrassing. Just for reference, this is how WWE celebrated 30 years of WrestleMania. This was 12 years ago. And this is how they celebrated 40 years. Talk about budget cuts. And by the way, this was WrestleMania just 1 year ago from that disaster. Yeah, a lot did change immediately after TKO took over. And one of the first things they did, by the way, was fire Kevin Dunn. And everybody celebrated Kevin Dunn's firing as if it was the greatest thing ever. And everybody embraced the lack of ambient lighting in the arenas, and they embraced the sporty feel that TKO was finally bringing to wrestling. Well, I don't know about you, but it's night and day, clearly night and day. So least to say, when it comes to WrestleMania 42, I've got no hopes from the stage. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit better from last year, but probably almost the same. I don't really have my hopes high, especially considering they'll only have like 4 to 5 days to set that stage up, because Bruno Mars is gonna be performing, or is performing, at the stadium right now. So yeah, that stage is, I've got no hopes. But enough talking about the stage, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And no, I'm not talking about the match card yet. First, it was the change in venue, New Orleans, then Vegas. With it came the change in logo. Now it's the look and the feel, the graphics of the show. First, we had the very gritty black and white kind of vibe going on. Then we moved to a lavish casino setting. And then we moved to this futuristic blue and white kind of thing going on over there. And then it seemed like they had started to settle with this Fallout looking template. There were reports going around that backstage executives and designers were scratching their heads and they couldn't put their finger, couldn't point out which one they liked better. So now we have a Fallout inspired theme for night 1, and for night 2, we're going Portal, we're going to the future with this bluish kind of thing going on. I'm also a little bit pissed about the Weeknd not contributing the official theme song for WrestleMania this year. You know, he had been doing so for the past 6 years. And after an unbelievable streak like that, I really thought we were gonna get a Weeknd WrestleMania halftime show. In the past, we did have stars like Pitbull, we're just going to skip that one. Okay, but we did have stars in the past performing at WrestleMania, so I had my hopes high. But I guess TKO wouldn't spend that much, would they? Which brings us to the match card now. We know that 13 matches will take place at WrestleMania 42, with 7 of them taking place on night 1 and 6 on the following night 2. Out of these 13, there's one match that has the people talking that all eyes are on. And that is not a championship match. Not a match with celebrities involved either. That is an exhibition match with a brand new star on the main roster, Obafemi, who's going to be taking on the Beast Brock Lesnar. Now, this is sort of a dream match for a lot of people because Obafemi is really the same size, the same stature as Brock Lesnar, and the only guy we've seen in years who could possibly have Brock Lesnar's number. So this is a match that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time, which is why it didn't really need a lot of build, and it really doesn't have a lot of build except for the fact that you've got 2 muscles going at it, which is fine. But now let's talk about the main event for night 1, which has been ruined, by the way, with unnecessary involvement of celebrities. So now, unless the W in WWE is silent, they should care about the world, not just America. And when you bring in guys like Pat McAfee, maybe it's going to appeal to 50% of the population in America, but the rest of the world simply doesn't care. And if you put him in the main event of a globally known event, WrestleMania, it's a problem. Pat McAfee's involvement, if that wasn't bad enough, him announcing 25% sale on all WrestleMania tickets just 1 week prior to the event itself is embarrassing. On top of that, you've got jelly smeared all over the place. It's unnecessary. It was not needed. Just the Viper turning heel and going vicious on Cody Rhodes. We've seen it many times with Cody Rhodes and his WrestleMania build. We've seen it happen a lot of times. It would have been fine to do it once again with just Randy and Cody. I would have been fine with it. But they've ruined it. So I've got no hopes from this main event. But who knows? Maybe something good is going to come out of it. Now, rest of the match card, Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan has got to be a banger. I'm excited about it. Rollins and Gunther, I'll take it. I just don't know what happened. Why did Rollins attack Gunther? Lots of question marks. This build has been absurd, but I guess the match should be good. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. I haven't been a big fan of either in recent years. I used to love Becky, but lately not so much. Also, the Intercontinental Championship, I feel, for the women's, I don't know if it was needed. Still, all this time later, I don't know if the IC title was needed in the women's roster. So, not my cup of tea, this match. Then you've got the Scrambled Eggs match of WrestleMania, where you had a bunch of women. They had no idea what to do with them, so they've put them in scrambled eggs. You've got Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match over here, which also I think could be a good match, especially for the fans of these women. I love Alexa Bliss, so I'm going to be watching it. But yeah, I'm not excited about this match. I don't think this match is the match that anybody would be looking forward to on night 1. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre doing what they do. And then, of course, you've got another celebrity influencer match going on with the 6-man tag team. Now, night 2, I already like the graphics of night 2 a little bit better, a little sleeker. It's easy on the eyes, and I'm not sure if it's the graphics or if it's the tribal chief that's sitting at top right there. Roman Reigns, when you see Roman Reigns front and center, it's gonna be a good night. So Roman Reigns versus Punk is gonna be a good match. The best part about this main event is that there is no celebrity involvement. Thank you for that. Thank you. Then you've got Finn Balor coming back as the Demon after years now, which is going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. You've got Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, which should also be good. Of course, Williams is going to be taking on Zayn. And Williams has also got a celebrity involvement now. I know that somebody showed up. Lil Yachty, right? That's what they call him. He showed up on SmackDown, so you've got some celebrity involvement going on there as well. You've got Femi and Lesnar again, the marquee match. It's taking place in hour 1, which is surprising to me, but yeah, it's the marquee match of the night. I'm excited about this match, but I'm also a little bit skeptical because we have seen in the past, don't forget, Brock Lesnar versus Omos. We have seen in the past Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. And exhibition matches at WrestleMania featuring Brock Lesnar don't always work well for his opponents. So I'm on the fence. I'm excited, but I'm on the fence. Then you've got another scrambled eggs match, but I'm just glad to see the ladders back at WrestleMania. They should have never gone away. You know, the Money in the Bank matches at WrestleMania were fantastic. And even back at WrestleMania 32, you had Zack Ryder with that incredible moment, which I thought should have been recreated, and Zack Ryder should have been in this Intercontinental Championship ladder match. You know, it would have been a perfect deja vu. I'm not sure why Rusev's there, but okay, we'll take it. I think it's going to be a fun match, especially with all these luchadors and especially Evans being there. I think it should be a good match. But honestly, this year's WrestleMania, it just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't feel like a WrestleMania to me. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. AJ Styles, who recently retired at Royal Rumble, he also thinks that WrestleMania has lost its appeal. Take a look.
WrestleMania, listen, I'm sorry to say, used to be the most prestigious PLE or pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. But to me, it's kind of lost its luster a little bit.
And I've just pulled up the most criticized WrestleMania in recent history. 10 years ago, WrestleMania 32 took place, and many people called it the worst booked WrestleMania in history. This is the show's match card, and honestly, take a look at it. You had Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar, you had Roman Reigns and Triple H, Taker and Shane McMahon in the Hell in a Cell. You had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Whatever happened to that? I mean, is it still taking place on SmackDown now? Or is it just not taking place at all? Nobody talks about the Battle Royal now. Wow. Of course, you had the ladder match, which I said Zack Ryder won it. I think that they should have recreated it 10 years later. But Zack Ryder is nowhere to be found on the WrestleMania card. Then obviously you had Styles, Jericho, you had the Diva stuff going on. You had the triple threat, by the way, between Charlotte and Becky and Sasha. What a match that was, and what an entrance that was from Sasha Banks and Snoop Dogg. That was a whole different era of the WWE. Yeah, the overall, the match card was fantastic. Excuse the Ryback over there, but it was a great show. Especially now looking back at it, it was a great show. I don't want to say that WrestleMania has lost its charm and all hope is lost. What I'm saying is that this year's WrestleMania, it does not sound great on paper. All that aside, I will still be watching WrestleMania 42 this Saturday and Sunday. Here's hoping that this year's WrestleMania is going to prove me wrong and it's going to turn out to be the best Mania ever. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you going to be watching this year's WrestleMania? Are you excited about WrestleMania? Or are you underwhelmed? Let me know, and I'll be reading and responding to each of you.